Today I'm going to tell you how slab leaks happen underneath your home on water pipes, what to look for, troubleshooting, and the best way to get through this without losing your head. And we're getting right to it. Welcome everybody to Tailgate Tuesday edition of Plumbing with Tim. If you're looking to sharpen your plumbing skills or just learn something, you came to the right place. So stick around and drop below and hit the subscribe button. That way you don't miss any of my awesome videos. Before you go freaking out and doing all that stuff, if you happen to hear a noise in your home, like a hissing, but you don't see any kind of water, you've done all your troubleshooting, no toilets are running, no flappers are bad, all that stuff. Well, the first thing you want to do is go down to where your water meter is, okay? If you live on a well system with a pump, this isn't going to work, but most of us in the metropolis area and stuff have city water. You walk down, you take a look at your meter, make sure nothing's running inside the home, and see if that thing is running. It shouldn't be running. If you have no toilets running, nobody's flushing toilets, taking showers, doing the dishes, it shouldn't be running. If that thing is moving or it's counting upwards, that means that you have a slab leak. So our first thing that we need to do is go into where our water heater is and cut that valve off and take a look at the water meter again and see if it's stopped. If it's stopped, then you know that you have a hot water leak, and thank God you yourself can find it without having to spend all the big money on leak detection, because usually on a cold water leak you're going to end up calling leak detection, and that runs at least $350. Damn. So $19 Lowe's. This is a heat gun. All right, take a look. See that cool little display? This is going to tell me whether my floor is hot or cold, and I'm going to be able to pinpoint right where that hot water leak is without charging the customer $350 for leak detection. If you're not that lucky and it is a cold water leak, unless it's so apparent and it's coming up through the floor and you know you're close, chances are pretty good you're going to end up having to spend that $350 and get leak detection. So what do? What's your first step? I'm going to tell you, stick around. There's a whole array of reasons and factors that would cause a slab leak underneath your home. Hey, let's start with old pipes. Look how green that baby is right there. Maybe you can take a look up inside of there and maybe even see that too. All right, this came out of a house from the 1960s. Duh, no wonder. The pipes are getting old. Oh, let's not forget about soft copper. See how that thing's got a bend to it and everything? You can see there. See? Soft copper. Soft copper is used during the rough end of your home. What can end up happening is they'll bend that pipe up so it'll come up behind where a wall would be poured and built. And on this particular bend of your pipe, whether you know it or not, nobody does until it happens, there can be a stress in this pipe, creating the alloys to break apart a little bit inside where you can't see it. In time, will end up causing yourself to have a slab. All right, you guys want to see what a hole in a pipe from a slab leak looks like? Look at that. See that? Right there. All right. Now I look down inside of this pipe and it looks normal. I don't see a bunch of green and pits and stuff like that. This right here is a sign of cheap copper that was used during the construction of the house. Whether you know this or not, back about 20 years ago or so, there was a copper shortage everywhere. And a lot of these contractors, they had deadlines they had to meet, so they had to outsource and buy cheap copper from, say, China, Canada, wherever. Okay, these did not have the same molecular structure as a good old US of A copper that's built and manufactured the proper way and tested over time. So what's happening is this little slab leak that I went to today came out of a house that was built 20 years ago. So do the math. Cheap copper. Electrolytic corrosion, aka electrolysis. What is that? Well, first of all, you see a lot of that happen around the top of a water heater when you have to put a certain kind of metal to another metal, such as brass, to copper. And after a while, those two metals, they decide not to agree with each other, and they'll start corroding away, and they'll give out. And another way that can happen also is with copper on copper. See that? Say one of the pieces of copper pipe underneath your home is crossing another, and it's kind of resting down on top of that. Well, after a while, the chemistry of those two pipes are going to say, I don't like you. No, I don't like you. And one of them's going to win and one of them's going to lose. And there you go. You have a slab leak. Okay, so in a rare occasion, and I've seen it a number of times, and it's always going to happen no matter where you live, especially here in Central Florida where I live. Florida is known as the lightning capital of the world. And I've seen homes get struck by lightning. The lightning and the bolts will go down through your home. And let's say one of these little copper pipes was laying down, resting on a piece of the rebar that the concrete was poured in. Well, here comes the lightning, travels on down through, hits that rebar, and now it's hitting that copper pipe, and that electricity is traveling down through here, and it's going to find a weak spot or a bend, and it's going to blow a hole out in your pipe, causing you to have a slab leak. So I hope this video has helped you out in some way or another. I really appreciate you taking a few minutes and just checking this out. Hopefully it's been informative. Leave me a comment and let me know what kind of experiences you may have gone through when it comes to this type of plumbing nightmare, or maybe a story that a friend of yours or relative has. And make sure to subscribe. That way I can keep shooting these videos. Until next time, Tailgate Tuesday edition of Plumber with Tim. Keep plumbing.